When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Do you know what integrity is? You don't? Oh, well, integrity is adherence to moral and ethical principles, soundness of moral character, honesty. Kind of like virtues and morals. Get it? Here, let me show you a little bit more about what integrity is. Integrity has to do with your own personal moral code or ethics. Everyone has a standard of what is moral or right. Some of those standards are personal ones that we hold for ourselves, and some are imposed by society. For example, you personally may not think it is wrong to cheat on your taxes because you feel the government takes too much to begin with. However, external forces, as in the law, states that it is ethically wrong to do so, regardless of how you personally feel. Integrity is the adherence to the moral code, whatever the source is. Loosely defined, it would mean that you are willing to do the right thing. Do you understand now? Or would you like some examples of what I mean? Okay, here. We'll start off simple. Here we have Shady Ted. He sees that this woman has dropped her wallet. He picks it up, looks through it, and walks off with it. Now let's see that again, except this time with some integrity. Without even thinking, he picks it up and immediately gives it back to the woman. That's some great integrity, Ted. Here's another example. Instead of waking up on time to meet up with some friends, Shady Ted decides to sleep in a little longer. Since he made that decision, he arrived later than when he said he would, making his friends do all the work. Now let's see that again, except this time with some integrity. When Ted wakes up, he jumps up out of bed to go help his friends. He arrives on time to help his friends, and they all do an equal share of the work. Way to go, Ted! Now I'm going to show you more of a personal integrity. Shady Ted walks into a room where his friends are watching an inappropriate R-rated movie. He decides to sit down and watch it when he knows he really shouldn't. Now let's see that again, except this time with some integrity. Instead of sitting down and watching the inappropriate R-rated movie, Ted chooses to go do something else with his time instead of breaking his integrity. Good job, pal. So now that you know what integrity is, let's apply it to education. When teaching, don't be like my friend Shady Ted here. If you're not excited about the subject, then why should the students be? Having a tired and bored attitude makes it seem like you don't even know what you are teaching, or that you don't even want to be there. Let's try this again. Nobody likes a boring teacher, so pep up your attitude with a little bit more spunk. Having energy and enthusiasm about what you are teaching will keep your students awake and engaged. Keep it up, Ted. Now here's a look into some things that happen behind the scenes. Here we have Shady Ted, changing his students' test answers to make his students receive higher grades to make him look like a better teacher. This is both morally and ethically wrong. Let's try this again. I know we all want the best for our students, but changing an answer on a test is unfair. You're depriving a student of their education by letting them slip on. Another thing that is important in teaching is teaching your students integrity. Here are just a few ways that integrity can be taught in the classroom. When teaching, it is easy to have favorite students. So when you teach, don't be like Shady Ted, who only teaches to the students he likes. The other students will then stop paying attention in class and will not get good grades or have integrity. Let's take a look into a different classroom. This teacher pays attention to the whole class. She doesn't play favorites when teaching. Now all of her students can learn equally and no one will feel left out of the learning process. Another way to teach integrity is through your homework policy. If you are a lax teacher like Shady Ted, your students are less likely to perform. To get students to have integrity about their homework, you must be stern about your policy and show that you care when your students don't perform well or when they don't turn in their homework. The last way that I'm going to show you is having your students pay attention in class. Like I said before, if you don't want to be there or you aren't enthused about your subject, your students won't want to be there either. If you care about your students, you will have a policy and uphold it. Also, you won't let it take away from your teaching. Here are some interviews of what teachers and students say integrity is.
Integrity comes from the word integer, which is a whole number. So integrity is a wholeness. It means that every part of your life has integrity with every other part of your life. In other words, what you say is what you do, what you believe matches the way you live, and so it's a very demanding quality. It's not easy to have integrity. It's a lot easier to believe something without doing anything about it. But when your beliefs and your lifestyle are congruent, that's integrity.
Integrity is very important for teachers because teachers, we are not only need to be people of integrity, but we need to be examples of integrity and working towards making sure that our students see us as an example and that see us as a role model for what integrity should be.
Scripture says one day we're all going to stand before God's throne and we'll be judged for the things that we have done. To many, Jesus will say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." So integrity is the awareness that we will be evaluated by God for what we do here in this life.
Well, integrity to me means that your inner self and your outer self are able to walk hand in hand, and it also means that your heart and your thoughts match up, and you're able to express who you are on the inside just as easy as you are to express who you are on the outside.
To me, integrity means always doing the right thing, especially when no one's looking, and especially when it doesn't help you. Someone with integrity you can trust to do the right thing, so when push comes to shove, they can be trusted to do what they need to do, be responsible.
It's not just about maintaining a high level of moral principle. It's not about being honest. It's about being whole. And you know what makes people whole? Everything around them. How you look at everything around you determines who you are on an integral level. I think a high level of integrity would probably have to be someone who's upright, someone who's honest, and someone who's guided by love.
What does integrity mean to me? I guess being somebody that can be dependable and being somebody that somebody can actually count on.
Alright, so I wanted to share with you an example of integrity because I learn from examples, and you might not want to follow this one, but for your entertainment I thought I'd share it. So this one time I was in the hall, right, and there were these girls, and they were talking about like zombie apocalypse and all this stuff. So we started talking, and then we got into class material. How you transition from zombie to class material, I'll never know, but we did. So we started talking about this class that we were in together, and we're saying, why don't we just do it together? That's what the whole class was thinking. You know, it'd be easy, it'd be simple, no big deal. But I'm thinking, I could go to hell for that, so how about I don't? So I tried to like give an example of this person saying, this is awful, let's not cheat. I feel like that would probably be a really bad idea. I don't feel right about doing it. And somehow I threw the word Hitler in there, and I was like, yeah, Hitler was bad, you know, like, we don't want to be bad like Hitler. And I'm like, cheating's bad, like Hitler. And she just looked at me, and I felt really awkward because I technically just called her Hitler. And the funny thing about it was, it wasn't just me and her and one other person who heard it. My roommate Alex was in the room right next to where I was standing, and she heard the whole conversation of me calling someone Hitler because they wanted to cheat. So, if you don't want to be called Hitler, don't cheat. But, you know, and have integrity, because Hitler didn't. Period. Learn it.
Understand? Great. Now go off and apply what you've learned.